watching an exclusive high-definition broadcast of NASCAR's Grand National Division on HDNet.
Last week, the Grand National East Series was in Thompson, Connecticut, and the racing was anything but clean. Staying clear of the mess was Sean Case in car 44. He was in victory lane for the second time this season. But tonight, drivers hungry for a win include Matt Kovaluk, Mike Olson, and rookie sensation Joey Logano. For the first time in history, NASCAR's Grand National East Series has come to Tennessee. From the Music City in Nashville, it is the Music City 150 at the Music City Motorplex. Good evening, everybody. Mike Hogwood here along with Dan Pardis, and we welcome you to racing here on HDNet. You're going to see a lot of great, young, talented drivers tonight. But Dan, this racetrack is also going to shine, an old historic place.
Well, it is, Mike. And as a driver, when you pull into this place, the history, the legendary drivers that's been around this place, it's just a great feeling to make your first lap around Nashville. It's going to make for some really good racing here tonight. And again, it's a very high bank, fast track. It's going to be an exciting night.
Sure is. And as you can see, they're ready to go down on the straightaway. So let's head down now and get some of the trackside activities underway here in Nashville.
And again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and on behalf of Joe Mattioli and Norm Pardon, I want to welcome you to the Music City Motorplex. At this time, if you would please stand, remove your hats, while Cal Foreman, our chaplain with Motor Racing Outreach, leads us in prayer. Cal.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we're just so thankful for this beautiful evening to celebrate the great sport of auto racing here in Nashville. God, I pray your blessing over all of the promoters and sponsors that have put such effort into making tonight a success. God, we pray for all these drivers, all the crews and officials that will be working your track. God, that you place your hand of protection upon them and keep them safe from harm. God, we thank you for all the men and women that are stationed all around the world to give us the freedoms we have in this country. God, pray your safety over them and your blessing upon them and bring them home safely to us. God, we're just thankful for the grace and peace we experience through your Son, Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Cal. And now with God Bless America, Angela Ross. Angela.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night from the light up above, through the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Angela. And now with our national anthem, Tommy Two-Tone.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, or by practiced all day. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave truth to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you, Tom.
All right.
Thank you, Tommy. Certainly appreciate
National Anthem, God Bless America. And we'll tell you about the HDNet Performance Award, which a number of these drivers are going to be fighting for to the end of the season here on HDNet. $10,000 awarded to the cumulative lap leader of each HDNet televised race. And the winner also receives a high-def television. $5,000 will be contributed to the point fund of the East and West Series. And right now, boy, I tell you what, leading all but 2 laps last week was Sean Case. Races coming up here tonight in Nashville, Adirondack, Lime Rock, Mansfield, Ohio, New Hampshire, and Dover. So still plenty to sky on for these guys to catch up with Sean Case. But for the second week in a row, Sean Case is on the pole in car 44, owned by 4-time champion Andy Santerre. And you see those standings there. As you see, the engines have been fired. The cars are out taking a couple of pace laps before we go green. Gives us a chance to introduce the starting lineup to you for the Music City 150. On the inside of row 1, it's our pole sitter Sean Case and Jamie Hayes. Best qualifying effort of the season. Row 2, Matt Kobaluk, and another guy who was surprising, Ruben Pardo.
Yeah, Commando Fitz entry there. I tell you, these guys worked hard here through the heat of the day to get the right setup. Look at Jeffrey Earnhardt starting row 3 outside. Good start position for him. And also the son of Paul Andrews, Tim Andrews, best qualifying effort ever.
And he won a race last year in this series. The youngster, 17-year-old Mark Davis. Kevin White, we'll tell you more about him. He hasn't raced very much in this series, but he'll be a threat tonight. Also, Peyton Sellers, who's having a good season in the points, is on row 5. And Joey Logano, the points leader, outside of row 5. Not the qualifying effort he wanted.
No, they've been struggling. They've not found the setup with this race car. Joey not happy here tonight. He said, I don't think I can win this race, but I've got a car that I believe I can finish in the top 5. And consistency is big for Joey Logano because he's got to win that championship. Look at the big picture.
Mike Olson and the rookie Chase Austin. And on row 7, Ryan Chu and Jesus Hernandez. John Salemi and Rogelio Lopez will make up row 8 tonight. On row 9, the only woman driver in the race, Michelle Theriault. And Herman Quiroga is back after a week off. Skip McCord, who is a local driver here, and that local knowledge can count for a lot.
Well, it does. But these cars are so different than the normal late model or super late models you run on these racetracks. They're 3,400 pounds, very heavy, high horsepower. Just a real handful to drive around these high banks.
Jerry Marquis, a modified veteran who's run in this series before, is replacing Eric Holmes this week in the 35 car. Max Dumoulin, another local driver, Nicholas Formosa, make up row 12. And on row 13, John Freeman, his second race of the season in this series. And Jonathan Smith, that's Freeman's old ride in the number 5 car. Be interested, those two starting side by side. And James Pritchard, Scott Cooley on row 14 and row 15. Richard Gould and Todd Peck get provisional starting spots. 30 cars will make up the field here for the Music City 150. And I really think this is going to be a super race here.
Well, it is. And I tell you what's unusual about this race, Mike. I don't believe I talked to any drivers here today. I've asked just about 80-90% of them, have you ever been to Nashville Speedway? The answer was no. I don't believe any of these drivers in this field today, with the exception of one or two, maybe Jerry Marquis or one of the other ones, that have got any laps on this racetrack in these types of race cars. So it's going to be interesting here tonight.
And there's still some chances to make up ground in the points. Take, for instance, Sean Case, who is our pole sitter tonight. He came in last week to Thompson. He was 12th in points. By winning that race, he has moved up to 5th. Mike Olson is second behind Joey Logano, 94 points away. So the points chase coming into play. With more on Sean Case, let's go back downstairs to Natalie Taylor.
You know, Sean is just getting ready to start this race, and he's already talking to his crew chief, Andy, and saying, Andy, you gotta help me out this race. And I'm sure Andy's gonna be very excited to help him out. Why? Well, Andy's family is in the crowd. His entire in-laws are up there on the stands tonight, all supporting Sean Case. So he definitely has a support system.
Yeah, it's great to have a little fan club pulling for you. And, you know, Sean Case, who will start on the inside. Now, at Thompson last week, the inside wasn't always necessarily the way to get around the racetrack, but here in Nashville, that's a different story. You want to be where Sean Case is, down there near that yellow line, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. You need to be right down on the yellow line, entering the corner. You're going to slide the nose to the center of the corner of this racetrack. We'll talk about that during the race. We'll be able to watch these cars, but you almost diamond this racetrack. If you could picture a diamond, that's exactly how you would drive this racetrack. Right to the bottom, slide the nose up in the center, get the car turned, and just mash the gas coming off, drive to the bottom off corner exit again. It's a tough, tough racetrack. You carry a lot of speed here also, so, you know, it's very, very important to maintain control of your race car. You know, we're entering some 125 mile an hour on corner entry here.
Well, Dan, the light is out on the pace car. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for 150 laps here at Nashville.
It's going to be exciting. You need to tighten them belts, and I'm sure that's what them spotters are telling these drivers right now.
Well, it'll be Sean Case, Jamie Hayes on the front row, right behind him, Matt Kovaluk in the 40 car, Ruben Pardo in the 22, and let's hope for a clean start here as pace car about ready to pull down onto the pit lane. There it goes, and the start now in the hands of the 44 of Sean Case. Fans are on their feet.
Yeah, ready, green, 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 outside, 52 outside, still there, still outside, still clear outside, clear outside.
Great start again for Sean Case. You're listening to his spotter, and Jamie Hayes did not get a very good start there on the outside. He and Kovaluk are side by side as we come along to complete lap number 1 here in the Music City 150.
Now, the tough thing about Jamie Hayes, he's stuck up on that outside groove. He's got to get down. What he should have tried to do is get down and close the door to the 40 car Matt Kovaluk to get that preferred line. But he's running that outside line. If he finds a happy home there, he may be good here tonight in Nashville.
First 8 cars are all now nose to tail, single file. As you heard Sean Case say, taking care of tires is going to be premium here tonight. 150 laps. You only get the 4 tires you start the race on. The only way you can change is if you have a problem. And if you have a problem, you're probably like a flat tire or something, you're probably not going to win the race anyway. So tire management is going to be the name of the game here. Look at Kovaluk. A couple of laps in, he's getting a little racy on the inside, isn't he?
You got him. Still inside, just the door, back to your corner. There's the hole behind the 40 if you choose for it.
Not much of a hole, though, as Hayes right on the rear quarter panel of Sean Case and Matt Kovaluk now out in front. Boy, Kovaluk was flying in practice today, and look at that. He's got a couple car length lead already after getting by the pole sitter, Sean Case. And now here comes Hayes trying to make a move on the inside.
Yep, Matt Kovaluk, too. He, like I said, Mike, he was strong in practice. He's excited. But this is Matt Kovaluk's racetrack. He loves these kind of racetracks where they're aggressive, high banks. You throw the car down in the corner. You have to manhandle it to the center. A lot of bumps on this racetrack. As you see, they go right through the center of the corner here. It's very, very bumpy on that left side. It's almost like rumble strips. This track is very, very rough on the bottom of the racetrack. Coming off at turn 2, as you come off the corner exit there, this is turn 1. As you see exits off 2, there is a big bump down on the bottom of the racetrack. You do not want to be stuck on the bottom side or you get turned around real easy.
Well, it's Kovaluk Case, Jamie Hayes, Ruben Pardo, Tim Andrews, and Jeffrey Earnhardt in the top 6. And the Hayes is still trying to make a move on Casella. Rounding out the top 10, the Kevin Light, Peyton Sellers, Mike Olson, and Brian Chu has made a nice move up the racetrack to get into that top 10. Joey Logano, by the way, the points leader. Wonder where he is. He has dropped down to 12th.
Look at Jamie Hayes right to the bottom side of the racetrack, able to drive under young Sean Case. His car is starting to work down on the bottom of the racetrack. That's what it's going to take, about 10 or 15 laps to get some heat in these tires and really see what kind of race car you got there.
The guy that's losing ground, you see that white car on the inside? That's Ruben Pardo. Pardo out of Mexico City. Actually won a race at Lime Rock last year. The owner on that car. There's Hayes now putting a little pressure on Kovaluk. We told you about Jamie, Donnie Richardson, veteran, who's been here before with guys like Darrell Waltrip. He'll be crew chief for at a racetrack like this. This is a racetrack that hosted some 42 Nextel Cup events. Richard Petty won 9 times at this racetrack.
Lots and lots of history, Mike, like you said, at this facility. There's so many drivers, Sterling Marlin, the Green family that were born and bred here, golf trips. I mean, just a ton of good race car drivers that were born and bred here, cut their teeth at Nashville.
And look at Hayes. Hayes trying to make a move for the lead right here. Trying to get inside Matt Kovaluk, and Jamie Hayes, who has not led a lap in this series, is going for it right now here at 12 laps into the event.
Hayes able to keep that race car right down on the bottom of the racetrack, Mike, and that's what we talked about. So important here at Nashville to keep it hugging that left line.
You know, you talk to so many of these guys and they say, hey, we don't want to get real racy early. We got to save the right front, the tires. We got to save the tires at the end of the race. And here we see side by side the battle for the lead. Kovaluk and Jamie Hayes. Matt Kovaluk won at South Boston this year. 2 of the new tracks on this circuit, South Boston and Nashville. As this series now becoming the East Series, formerly the North Series. So Matt Kovaluk just giving up the lead to Jamie Hayes, who's leading for the first time as a driver in the NASCAR Busch East Series.
Jamie Hayes, you know, he's had quite the roller coaster ride this year. He just had some bad luck fall his way, but unfortunately for him tonight, he's making the best out of it.
Now, his best run has been at South Boston, where he was 6th. Well, a gaggle of cars there, and including Sean Case, who has dropped down to 6th. We saw Peyton Sellers a moment ago. He is up to 5th. There's Ruben Pardo getting passed by Tim Andrews. That's the battle for 3rd place. And right now, Andrews owns it, but Pardo out of Mexico alongside him. Tim Andrews, you talked about Paul Andrews, his dad. Tim Andrews, the driver of that 9 car. Normally the spotter on Sundays for Kyle Petty in the Nextel Cup Series, but the series is off this weekend, so father-son have gone racing. And Tim Andrews, who spots for Kyle Petty driving, and Paul Andrews, who's normally the crew chief for Bobby Labonte in the 43 car from Petty Enterprises during the Nextel Cup season, on the pit box today for his son. Well, he got hung out to dry a little bit with Tim Andrews.
Yeah, he did. He kind of backed up a few positions. Actually drove in the wheel in the side of Ruben Pardo's right side door, and I think he said, hey, it's a little bit young. Racy right now. Let me get back in line, get single file, let this thing sort out for a while.
Well, very quickly we have seen who has it and who doesn't, and right now Matt Kovaluk and Jamie Hayes are 2 that have it, but Hayes now has like a 12 car length lead over Matt Kovaluk. Boy, does he have a strong car here tonight.
He does. Car's just flawless. It's really working well, and just able to turn down there on the bottom of the racetrack. So important at a track like this again. Keep that car turning. Donnie Richardson really put a good setup underneath him, and boys worked hard. That car's turning right now. He's just got to take care of them tires. The whole key here at Nashville is to take care of tires.
There's Joey Logano in the 20, your points leader, and look at the battle for ninth. That's Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 1. You may notice that car is a little different color than it was a week ago. This is actually one of Dale Jr.'s former Bud cars. You can see the red trim on it, just different decals on that number 1 car. Jeffrey Earnhardt, the son of Terry Earnhardt, grandson of the legend Dale Earnhardt. That's quite a battle now with Joey Logano. I gotta wonder what's going on with Joey Logano. He has just not been able to get up and compete with the leaders tonight. Right now battling for 9th place, and that's very un-Joey Logano-like.
It really is, Mike. Talking to Joey, he said, I don't have the feel for the car. I'm not sure what it is, but we just can't hit it. I don't have the right combination. He knew before the race started. He said, I don't think I got a winning car. If we play it right, I can get up there in the top 5 and work. But as a driver, you got to have that driver feel. You got to have that special feel. It may be control arm change. It may be shocks. It may be springs. It's just one of those things where it just takes time, and they did not have enough time to make all the changes here tonight to get the 20 car Joey Logano working the way that Joey really likes it.
Logano now in
61.
9th place.
Mike Olson hits the wall off corner exit there. Tough break for Mike Olson. It started there off of turn 4, Mike. It just looks like they got together, and he just kind of pinched on that outside.
And remember, he was 2nd in points coming into this race. Caution out for the first time tonight. And it's for one of the really strong cars in this field. Mike Olson with a tough break. He hit the wall hard in 4 and has come to a stop at the entrance to turn 1. Let's see again what happened.
Just on the outside, looks like he gets a little loose and just loses the back of the race car. Not sure if the car behind him, Brian Chu, got into him or not. Not sure if he touched him or what, but don't look like there's any damage on the rear bumper of Mike Olson, so possibly just got a little loose off of turn 4 there, and nothing you can do.
Heavy damage on the right front, under caution for an accident involving the number 2 man in points, Mike Olson. We'll be back to Nashville in a moment. Well, 26 laps complete here in the Music City 150. Welcome back to Nashville. Mike Hogwood, Dan Partis, Natalie Taylor with you, and Jamie Hayes is driving a Ken Schrader-owned car as our leader. We're under caution because of the crash here in turn 4 and the slide all the way down to turn 1 by Mike Olson. And Danny, he might have cut down a tire. Not very sure, but that's a sure sign when you get up into the wall that a tire's gone down on you.
Well, that's exactly what happened there, Mike. He blew a left rear tire or something on the left rear of that race car let go, because as you just seen the replay there in high definition, smoke coming out of the left rear of that car before he ever made that hard dart to the right. So looked like, see, the left rear tire is already down on that race car. So it appears that he lost something on the left rear, or maybe something underneath the car let go, like possibly there's an oil pump that drives the rear end cooler on that race car. Sometimes a hose will bust on one of them, or you lose the rear end cooler and it'll just dump oil under the left rear tire.
Well, one thing you don't like to see is when you can't roll the car back to pit road, because while Jamie Hayes is running around, look at Mike Olson's car. It's on the hook. So the night might be done for Mike Olson, and what a tough break this would be for the points. When you only got 13 races, you really can't afford too much of a night like this one.
No, you can't. And listening to Mike on the radio, he said, I'm not sure what happened. Something snapped. He said, I was wide open on the throttle coming off a corner exit. It just took a hard right. He says, I don't know if I blew a left rear tire or something broke in the back. It just took turn right on me. Take a look at this replay again. You'll see as you watch him off corner exit, about right in through here, right when he gets straight, you'll see some smoke coming out of the left rear. Right there, you see smoke coming out of the left rear corner. Looks like something maybe blew under there. See smoke again out of the left rear, and then his right front's in the wall. So definitely a mechanical issue.
And while that's happening, there's Jesus Hernandez. NASCAR has just posted him. They've told him to come down on pit road. You're going to see his crew check for a leak on that car. There had been some complaints from other drivers that he was putting some fluid down on the racetrack. So you see the crew there looking underneath the car, trying to see if indeed there is a leak, and it will have to satisfy that NASCAR inspector before they'll let him go back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, they're looking underneath the middle part section towards the rear of the car. Possibly that would be a transmission, or maybe, again, something with the rear end cooler in the back of the car that's dumping some oil. So they're trying to dig around the bottom of that race car and see where it's coming from.
Jesus Hernandez out of Fresno, California. Young driver, 10th in points. He's one of those Drive for Diversity drivers out of Ted Ginn's racing shops. That's a good machine, but it looks like another long night for the driver Jesus Hernandez. He was 18th last week in Thompson, but his last top 10 finish was at Stafford, where he was 6th. His best run was a 3rd place finish at Iowa, but it looks like a top 10 tonight as NASCAR has called him on pit road to check for a leak.
Tough deal. Talking to Richard Berghoff, the crew chief on that car, he said, man, I feel really good about this race here tonight. We wrecked our other car last week, and this is our second car, and we went out and practiced. We were real happy with our practice times, and unfortunate, looked like some type of oil leak. Again, if you could have an oil leak in the front, very nose of this race car, the problem is at high speeds, that oil runs all the way back down through the middle of the race car, and you really have a hard time trying to figure out where it comes from.
And the driver of this car is a guy a lot of people are really high on. He is going to run some Truck Series races this year as well as some ARCA, but boy, it's really tough early in the race, isn't it, when you have a leak and you have to come on pit road, and it kind of ruins your night early. He and Mike Olson are not going to leave Nashville tonight with great feelings.
You're right. It's very frustrating, too, because if you can't find it, you question NASCAR and say, is there something really even leaking on this race car? But you can't get back out on the racetrack until they tell you.
Well, he's losing a lot of laps. We are still under caution. You see the light is on that pace car as the cleanup has continued down on the front stretch. And I think it looks like it's about clean now. And Yep, the light has gone out, so we'll go green next time, and it gives us a chance to explain the restart rules here in this series if you're not familiar with them. Leaders are side by side with the lead cars on the inside. So what that means is that Jamie Hayes and Ruben Pardo will start side by side, and then it's Peyton Sellers, who we've not talked a lot about tonight, along with Matt Kobaluk on row 2. So it's going to be an interesting restart. Starting the race, remember Jamie Hayes was on the outside and did not get a good start when he was alongside Sean Kay. So now we'll see what he does, Dan, here on the inside.
I'll tell you, he's feeling a lot more confident. You know, these last few laps, he's been real good. The car's feeling good. He's able to drive it up high and low. And that does so much for a driver, especially if you can get a few laps like that under your belt, especially with a restart like this. It gives you that confidence to really drive down into that first corner just really hard to stand on the gas and know that it's going to stick.
30 laps into this 150-lap event, and we're ready to go green again. Jamie Hayes will restart the race. And the green is back out. This time a much better restart for Jamie Hayes. And look at Peyton Sellers tucking in right behind him. Peyton Sellers, the former Whelen late model national champion. Ran in the West Series last year where he was Rookie of the Year. And right now threatening Jamie Hayes to take the lead. That's Peyton Sellers in the 83 out of Danville, Virginia. And for the first time tonight, Peyton Sellers is out in front.
Wow, he fired out of there like a cannon. This car was wrecked last week. They took the car to Thompson, Connecticut. They worked on it all week. They got done with it 4 o'clock this morning, put it in the hauler and headed to Nashville here. And look at that, no better feeling than to be leading the race.
Yeah, Peyton was telling me they've only got one car, and they didn't really plan to run the whole season, but he's done so well in the points. He's 4th in the point standings that they've gone out and gotten a backup car, but this is the car that they want to run in every race. Peyton Sellers has a chance to make up some ground tonight with Mike Olson 2nd in points, falling out of the race early.
Peyton Sellers and his brother, H.C. Sellers, is the crew chief on this car. His brother works full-time on the race car all week. Peyton works with his dad in a construction company, works in a construction company during the week, comes in at night, works on the race car. His brother H.C. does all the wrenching on this race car, does a fine job. What a great family effort.
Yeah, and 2 brothers are extremely close, and they ran so well at their home track in South Boston, Virginia, where he won that national championship. More on Peyton. Here's Natalie.
Yeah, guys, talking about the national championship in 05, well, Peyton's entire crew from that championship is here tonight. And he's not the only one who's here tonight, his crew that is. Also, his sponsor is here. So Peyton was so excited, couldn't wait to run, and was looking forward to getting out front. And guess what? I think the people in the crowd are going to be pretty excited with where he's running.
I'll tell you what else it is. It's a little loud down there, too, as you can
Stay
hear.
high, stay high, stay high.
Something happened. Peyton Sellers there that last, Mike.
It did, man. I don't know what
fell
happened.
way back.
Oh, he's not under power. Peyton Sellers is in trouble. He's broken something, Dan. You can see the sparks coming out of his race car. There we got it. Look at that.
Wow, he looks like he's possibly broke a track bar on that race car, or something broke on the right rear of that race car because it's leaning hard to the right. Not sure if it was a jack bolt cup or something on that race car. It appears to be way down on the right-hand side of that car. Tough break for Peyton Sellers, running so strong early in the day.
Well, you just taken the lead, and while you heard Natalie talking,
right front tire down.
Right front tire goes down. This is a rough racetrack, Dan. Make no doubt about it. I mean, everybody's talked about it. This pavement is anything but smooth, and it really wears on tires. Let's see if we can see what happens.
Rerun. He gets down the corner. Looks like the right front starts to let go right here because obviously he was hooked to the bottom of the racetrack, and he just loses the right front tire as he exits turn 2 and goes down the backstretch. Just nothing you can do as a driver. Done a good job of holding on to that race car because he tore it up last week. Thank goodness he didn't tear the race car up here today. Talking to Paul Andrews, crew chief at Tim Andrews, he said, Dan, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the long run here. He said, we ate a tire up in 80 laps. We did a cumulative run of 80 laps, 20, 20, 20, 20, and the right front tire was totally blistered and destroyed. He said, if we've got too much camber in the right front tire, we will tear the inside of that tire up and it will blow. So some of these teams may be having a tough time here late in the race here in Nashville.
Well, tire management is going to be the word. And, you know, with those tires causing problems, really, this is going to be anybody's race because as we just saw, leading the race, and you never know disaster might happen, as it happened with Peyton Sellers, who lost a couple of laps, slowing down and coming down on the pit lane to change that tire, which of course is NASCAR approved. You're not allowed to change any tires unless NASCAR approves it. And certainly a flat tire is one of those approved conditions. But that gives the lead back to Jamie Hayes. Ruben Pardo running second.
The 9 car, Tim Andrews, Joey Logano on the bottom side. This guy's going back and forth these past few laps. And Joey not liking the feel of that race car.
He's liking it enough to put it in the top 5, I'll tell you that. You know what I like about Joey Logano? He doesn't have a great race car, Dan. This is a young kid, 17 years old. So you know what he said? To heck with it. I'm going to get up on the wheel, and I'm going to drive that car. And he's driven it now into 3rd place.
Well, that's what he's going to have to do here today, Mike. We talked about that earlier. When you got a race car that's off a little bit, you got to get up on that steering wheel. You don't whine about it. You don't call your crew chief every other lap and tell him it's tight as a dump truck and all that. Just get up on the wheel and drive it. Wait for a caution. Come in and make an adjustment. Do that, or just wait it out. Be there at the end. It's so important in long races like this to be there when the checkered flag flies.
There you see the battle going on. Tim Andrews has taken that position away. Joey Logano losing some ground on the inside. What impresses me about that black car in front right now, the 9 of Tim Andrews, is he's unable to run on the outside. I think better than almost any car on this race.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we were looking. They're starting to get an outside groove down here at Nashville. More and more cars run up on that high side. They burn some rubber out. They make it a lot more grippier. So you start to see a few more and more of these cars move up the racetrack as the race goes on.
I like that.
Yes, and as a racer, you would like it. The grippier, the better. See these cars running right up there in that second group. Joey's down at the bottom. Again, as they get rubber down, they get better and better.
Well, there's a couple of seconds difference between the 2 leaders, and all the way back to Tim Andrews. Those 2, Pardo and Hayes, have really checked out.
Well, they're checking out. You see the 3rd car in your picture. That's Peyton Sellers. Again, he's a few laps down. Unfortunately, he's able to run with the leaders, but he is a few laps back. These guys up front, though, have got to be careful. The spotters have got to be talking to them. Jamie Hayes, Ruben Pardo saying, take care of them tires, guys. You don't need to burn them up unnecessarily. Hang out there. It's going to be a long race.
Herman Quiroga has been called on to pit road. He, too, has been asked to check for a leak by NASCAR, and so he's got all kinds of people surrounding his car all over. There they are.
Well, possibly, again, sometimes you lose an oil line, not sure where it's at, but NASCAR has spotters all the way around these racetracks. As the race goes on, they see smoke coming out from underneath the race car, they will pull you in. Also, they listen to what other drivers tell them, the teams will call them.
He's running that racing NASCAR Mexico Series. On that car, Vacation Club. Sitting down in Mexico. And he's had a lot of those folks who are here tonight, too. They don't want to see him sitting down on pit road. As a number of these drivers have brought their sponsors to Nashville, which is a great place to go. Even my partner, Dan Partis, goes to the Grand Ole Opry last night.
Oh, yeah, what a great time. See, my daughter Danielle went there, and man, what an awesome place. Never been there. Look at this, Mike. Jamie Hayes leading the race with the 2nd car in line there. That's Peyton Sellers. He blended back in. He passed in 2nd place Ruben Pardo. He's the fastest car on the racetrack now, the 83 car, Peyton Sellers, but he's got to make up some laps.
Yeah, that's the problem. He's lost some laps out on the racetrack. Ruben Pardo, we talked about him, the driver from Mexico, 28 years old. What a day he's having, huh, Natalie?
First driver from Mexico to win one of these East Series races. And the other thing that maybe one of the reasons why he's having success tonight is him and his crew chief talking about how their communication has definitely been building. And they were looking forward to Nashville since they think they finally got it right.
All right, thanks, Natalie. Boy, is it loud down there. I've been a pit reporter here at this racetrack before. Back in the day. Shall I just say that? Back in the day. Oh, there's trouble out on the racetrack. Spin. That is looks like the 8th car. That is Skip McCord, one of the local drivers here. His dad, Gip McCord, great mechanic, part of Bobby Hamilton racing operation.
Skip works in the race shop at Bobby Hamilton's car and shop, works there all week, and just Wednesday found out that he had a ride here at Nashville. So
right. Runs late models here at Nashville, has run a few ARCAs, races, but spin has brought out a caution for the second time here tonight in the Music City 150. Welcome back to Nashville. Well, there's been a lot of drama here so far. You see Peyton Sellers out in front. He led this race at one point, but a flat tire put him a couple of laps down, and you see him going by the pace car because he's the beneficiary, and he will get one of those laps back, but he'll still be a couple laps down as we get ready to go to green. Jamie Hayes, who has been the story here tonight, as you see Peyton Sellers, who will join the rear of the field, will start on the front row along with Ruben Pardo. And then on row 2, it is going to be Tim Andrews, and it looks as though the 4th place car, at least on the scoreboard, is Brian Chu. But it appears to me that Herman Quiroga is in that 4th position. Now, they made a big deal in the drivers' meeting about lining up correctly, and it looks like a scramble out there to line up correctly as Sean Case trying to find his way in line somewhere.
Yep, Sean having trouble there, but he just fell in line just on the bottom side of Jeffrey Earnhardt there. I think he likes that place. Both them cars are out of the same stable.
Well, on our timing and scoring sheet we do have Brian Chu in the 99, but that's not where he started. Jamie Hayes, a great restart. Ruben Pardo right behind him, and Tim Andrews running 3rd. Great story news about that young man.
Austin talking to Paul. He said, Dan, I bought that car. I'm ashamed to say this, and I hope he's okay to say this on the air. He said, I bought it for $1,000. He said, that was an old Busch car that came out of the Aiken stable. I bought it for $1,000. I put 2 bodies on it since, and it's been a real good race car for us. So Paul Andrews putting a good piece under his son Tim.
Won at Dover last year to Tim Andrews.
Jamie Hayes just set the pace.
Now let's tell the story about Jamie Hayes and the way he fits into the Hendrick family. He is the nephew of the late John Hendrick, who was killed in that tragic plane crash at Martinsville. When all that happened, his racing career kind of got put on hold a little bit. Now the Hendrick Motorsports team has helped out. They've got equipment, and it's the Ken Schrader shop that is maintaining that car, and a great crew chief in Donnie Richardson, who is crew chief many Nextel Cup teams, Busch Series teams, is heading the wrenches on that car. So there's a lot of experience, and that's some pretty good equipment right there for Jamie Hayes.
Well, it is, and something unusual about this car, probably 90% of these cars here tonight at Nashville are 105-inch wheelbase. They're ex-Busch South cars, or they're actually Busch cars. This is a 110-inch wheelbase car, meaning that the center of the wheel to center of the rear wheel is 5 inches longer than these other cars. Talking to Jamie, he was a little concerned about that. He said, man, I wish we had a 105 car. He said, I feel it's going to really start pushing late in the race. And I said, man, I think you're going to be good. This is a fast racetrack. Donnie Richardson confirmed to him that he's got a good race car. So this is a different type of race car than most of these cars out here now, because it is an ex-Winston Cup car or an Nextel Cup car, where most of these other ones are Busch cars. A little bit shorter wheelbase.
There's Sean Case, who has been told by his crew chief, Andy Santerre, to not really push it too hard. He's running 5th right now.
Doing a good job. You know, not to his liking. He was talking about the car being a little bit tight in the corner. Andy on the radio saying, don't burn the front tires off. Don't take your time. You've got 150 laps here tonight. Save it for the last 20 or 30 laps. And that's, I think, what Sean Case is doing right now.
And right in front of him in that 18 car, another one of those Joe Gibbs developmental drivers, 17-year-old Mark Davis out of Mitchellville, Maryland. Last year at Hickory, he won 6 late model events, 4 in a row, Dan. This is a guy that everybody says can really drive a race car. Sometimes he gets overshadowed by Joey Logano, but he has a ton of talent. Now, he has had 2 really bad finishes. Last week at Thompson, he was 28th after starting on the outside of the front row. In New Hampshire, he was 28th. And so he is hoping to make it up here tonight and have a better finish. How about that? Logano and Earnhardt now battling side by side.
Jeffrey Earnhardt real excited about this race here tonight also. He said, I really feel good about it. It's one of the better race cars I've had. Qualified 6th here tonight. He said, I've got a good piece. It's real good on the long run, and I feel good about it. I can drive it on the bottom and top of the racetrack. means a lot to a driver to have that confidence. And young Jeffrey Earnhardt, he needs a good top 5 finish here to get his morale going and get that team in the right direction.
That is the battle for 8th place, now owned by Logano. You see Chase Austin, another one of those young rookies. He's in the 66 car. Got a glimpse of it there a moment ago. Car owned by Rusty Wallace. Austin, another guy who's just 17.
Yep, and that car that Chase is in, the 66 car, it's an ex-Rusty Wallace car. He got it from Roger Penske when he left, and it's been one of his better cars. Chase is real fond of this race car.
Back up to the battle for 3rd place as the top 2 continue to motor on. I mean, all night long, Pardo and Hayes have been the class of this field.
Well, they have, Mike, but I'm not sure that's the right move. They're really stretching it out, some 3 seconds plus.
Oh, there's trouble. Pardo in the wall.
Well, we just talked about it. I believe he blew a right rear tire, blew a tire on the right side of that race car.
Ruben Pardo. Oh, and there's a mess behind him as a number of guys trying to get stopped.
Case.
Sean Case in it as well. Not able to get stopped. Let's see what kind of damage is on the Case machine. And
Mark Davis.
Oh my gosh, a number of the front runners got into some of that. Look at Sean Case. He's got bad damage on the front, the left front of that car.
Big job. Man, I'm so disappointed. This car was awesome. I was so ready to just roll by those guys.
Oh, the disappointment from Sean Case. That's who you heard there. And
Andy Santerre.
Trying to keep him up. Andy Santerre said he was doing awesome, but boy, it's going to be a long night now. Let's see if we can see. Now, watch what happens here as the drivers try to get woed down. Good job by Andrews.
Yep. Not sure if he had a tire go down or what. Looks like the right rear of that car tire is still up, but obviously something going wrong with that race car to make him make a hard right. See, the right rear appears to be up. The left rear appears to be up.
Like I say, on a track like this, it's a little rough. You never know when drama is going to strike. And Jamie Hayes out in front still has a clean race car. You saw Tim Andrews dive down. His race car still in one piece. But when Mark Davis stopped, his car spun and really was wide on the racetrack. And there was no way that Sean Case was going to get by it. And so it looks like another long night for Sean Case, who won last week at Thompson.
Yeah, it looks like that, he's got some left front damage there, guys, but not sure if they can get that pull back out and keep it off the tire. He's going to lose a little bit of downforce on the left front of that race car, but he may be able to limp his way through the night and possibly salvage, a top 10 out of it. If he had a good night, it might be a top 5. So he's got one of the better crews out here in this series, so I think they'll make the right moves. You see he pulls the aluminum ductwork from the radiator, which is not good, because you need that ductwork to help divert that air into the radiator. They're going to get that fender off that tire and get him back underway. Crew hollering for the Sawzall. It's an electric saw to cut them pieces off there.
Well, they're trying to do this and keep him on the lead lap, but I don't believe they're going to be able to do it. What a tough break for Sean Case. And to change that tire on the left front, that has to be approved by NASCAR, and it doesn't look like it's going to get approved to change it. They've got the stuff cut off, and right now the pace car is almost to the start-finish line, and there goes Sean Case. He's going to stay on the lead lap.
Well, that's the key right now, Mike. Keep him on the lead lap, like you said. Get him around one more time. Don't look like he had a whole lot of left front damage there, so if they can get him back around, they can probably finish the repairs on that car.
Yeah, but the chance of a good finish has just gone out the window.
Yep, it's a tough deal, but again, if they can get most of that fixed, we just have to see how bad it does affect them.
And now the beneficiary, we've been notified again, is once again going to be Peyton Sellers, so he will now go 1 lap down. He was 3 laps down after leading this race and cutting a tire, and that man has led the most laps tonight. Jamie Hayes, 33-year-old driver.
There's Peyton Sellers again. Again, he will be the beneficiary. He is the fastest car on the racetrack right now. He was 3 laps down. Now he's going to get another beneficiary. He went 3 laps to 2 laps. Now he'll be 1 more lap down. So, if he uses his head, he can make his way back up front. Could be an exciting night for Peyton Sellers and that whole bunch.
Todd Peck has come down to get some adjustments on pit road. Again, no approved tire changes here. Skip McCord also down on the pit lane. And Peyton Sellers, who's right behind that pace car, when the light goes out and the signal is given 1 to go, Peyton Sellers will come around and join the tail end of the field. The reason they do that with 1 to go is that they have to trip the sensors.
Yep.
That there is automatic scoring here, and so to trip the sensors, he'll do it now. young Tim Andrews is going to start on the front row. What a race he has run tonight.
He has, and it's been a good race car. But again, his dad also expressing some concern of the right front tire because they did burn a tire up in some 80, 90 laps. He said, I took some camber out of it, which means laid it down a little bit. I'm not sure if that fixed it.
Again, back to Sean Case's car as he's back in on pit road as they continue to cut away some of the pieces of that car. You heard Andy Santerre said he was doing a great job, and Sean Case says, I am so disappointed, as you must be. There is Andy. His wife beside him. They're expecting their first child in November, so congratulations to the Santerres.
Thrill for him. Of course, him stepping out of the car was a little bit tough, but he says, you know, I've really enjoyed working with Sean Case and this whole operation and building it to where it is today, and I hope to be a car owner in the Busch Series, possibly the Nextel Cup Series one day.
Well, you win 4 championships. You know, he'd accomplished everything there was to accomplish in this series, and now is teaching the young Sean Case, and now he has to teach him how to deal with disappointment and patience, because he certainly had a great race car here tonight. Leaders again line up double file. It's Andrews and Hayes to restart the race. Look at Tim Andrews on the outside trying to hang with Hayes, but Jamie Hayes has some kind of piece that he brought with him here tonight to Nashville.
Well, we talked about it again. It's super good equipment. Brian Vickers, ex-Hendrick car. 110-inch wheelbase car, though. We talked about it. It likes taking kindly to this racetrack. That's real important to be able to get the driver comfortable and make the car turn to the center of the corner. And they've been able to do that with that car.
Jeffrey Earnhardt now making a move. He's moved into 3rd place. He's in that red #1. But this is a guy who's had very limited experience on any kind of a track, in any kind of a series. He came right from limited sportsman to this series as a developmental driver for DEI. Again, that's Kerry Earnhardt's son. Grandson of the late Dale Earnhardt.
Spotter.
There. With the light, you'll be side up top here. You got inside.
That's the spotter for Jeffrey Earnhardt you're hearing. And boy, Sean Case, bad luck. He's having to come back down on pit road. There's sparks flying out from under that car. There he comes to the attention of his crew.
Left front tire down on that car, Mike.
Yeah, long night. Gets even longer.
Jamie Hayes able to keep that car down on the bottom. Just sets there like we talked about. Putting the left front tire on that car. Again, Sean Case at this point, looking at the big picture, running for points in this series. Got to get out there and do laps. Try and move up a few positions.
Past halfway is 150 laps make up the Music City 150 here. And making a move, the 03 of Ruben Pardo, who's now going to battle Andrews for 2nd place. Jamie Hayes is checked out front. There's quite a battle there for 2nd. Andrews in that black #9, and Ruben Pardo, who is out of Mexico, 23-year-old driver. Ran 5 East Coast races last year in this series.
Champion in NASCAR Mexico.
That's Calientes. You say that 5 times.
Not me. That's what you for.
Jeffrey Earnhardt starting to get racing. You know, this is a young man that has really improved as this season has gone along. That car prepared in the shops of Andy Santerre. It is a Dale Earnhardt Incorporated machine. That's a former Dale Earnhardt Jr. Busch Budweiser car, as you can see by that red and black paint scheme on it. Just put different numbers and decals there, but that car is prepared at Andy Santerre's shop with Clinton Cram as the crew chief. So there's a partnership with DEI and Santerre Motorsports.
Kind of cool. You go to the race shop there, and they got Sean Case's equipment on one side, Jeffrey Earnhardt's stuff on the other side. These teams all work together. They share information, they share knowledge, they share setups, and that's what it takes to be successful in this business, because what Andy Santerre knows, he doesn't have a problem sharing it with Clint Cram to make their program run that much better.
Rogelio Lopez running 2nd now. There's Tim Andrews getting passed by the youngster, the 66 car, Chase Austin, the young man that Rusty Wallace selected to be his developmental driver for Rusty Wallace Incorporated.
Battle for 5th right here. These guys are all neck and neck. And again, this is an ex-Rusty Wallace car that he brought from the Penske stable. Steven Wallace drove it in the ARCA Series, won a few races.
Yeah, Rusty told me that this was one of the best race cars that he ever drove for Roger Penske.
Well, he did. When he left Penske Racing, Roger said, "Is there anything you want, Rusty? Is there anything I can help you with?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'd like to have a couple cars." And he said, "Okay, take your pick." And he walked over to his 2 best cars and took them, and Roger just kind of shook his head, so I figured you'd take this too. But he lived up to his name and gave him the race cars, and they've been super good cars for him ever since.
And the other amazing thing is Chase Austin is another one of those youngsters who is just 17 years old. Wow, what a future in front of him.
He does. He started 11th here today, and again, he's up in the top 5, back and forth, currently in 6th, but doing a super job here tonight at Nashville.
Chase Austin's best finish so far this year was an 8th, and that was at Stafford. Woo!
Hanging the tail there a little bit.
They get a little loose there, huh? They did a good job of saving it. Let's go down to Natalie.
One of Chase's main focuses tonight was the handling of the car, and he had this great quote about tires. Be nice to the tires, and they'll be nice to you. And Chase Austin was so excited about racing at this track with all the history. He was naming drivers left and right. So you can tell that this smiling driver's obviously having a little bit of success out there.
Yeah, you know, I think that history is on the minds of all these drivers here today. They know that Richard Petty's won 9 times here, and Cale Yarborough 7 times. And look at him save the race car right here.
Hangs the tail a little bit too far. Sometimes if you pick the throttle up a little early down in the center of the corner and you get down on the throttle, you can get a little bit more momentum off corner exit, and you carry a little bit too much speed, and it'll hang the tail like that. But a race car driver will get up on that steering wheel and drive it back to the right, kind of dirt track it a little bit and keep it under control. I'm sure Rusty Wallace is watching that saying, "Whew, thank goodness for that." Rusty's probably taught him a thing or two around here. I'm sure Chase has talked to Rusty a little bit about how to get around this place, and that also helps a ton as a driver going into a track like that.
Dan, we got a new driver in the series this week, Jerry Marquis, but not a new name. This is a guy who was runner-up to the championship in 1997. He replaces Eric Holmes, who was the West Series champion last year, but just did not mesh with that team, and so Marquis has come over with 7 wins in his career in this series, will run the rest of the season, and he has made his way up now into the top 10. Jerry Marquis, known by most people as a modified driver, but he says, I don't care what it is. I just love to race.
Well, he does, but he's the man in modifieds. I mean, if you ever watched open wheel modified racing in the Northeast, Jerry Marquis is the man. I mean, he's the 2000 Series champion in that tour, in the wheel and modified tour. He's got many, many starts in this Busch Series. 6-time NASCAR Pro Stock Division champion. I mean, 4-time NASCAR late model track champion.
He's done it all.
A ton of championships.
Now he's putting a move right here on Tim Andrews, and that is the battle for 7th place. So Marquis is giving that 35 car a good run. Eric Holmes only had 2 top 10s. One of them was last week, though, where he finished 9th at Thompson.
This team, they're in the building process. Talking to Eric Holmes last week, who was driving his car in Thompson, he said, we're building some new race cars. We have not got them done yet. We're working on some stuff, and this possibly could be one of their new race cars. Not sure if they've got one of them done, but obviously Jerry Marquis is doing a tremendous job.
Well, the top 4 have strung out just a little bit. Jamie Hayes, as you watch this battle for 7th place, leads the race. Rogelio Lopez is 2nd. Jeffrey Earnhardt is 3rd. Chase Austin 4th. Has now moved up into the top 5 in the 5th position.
Kerry Earnhardt, son of Kerry Earnhardt, Jeffrey Earnhardt. I get him confused sometimes because I've raced with Kerry Earnhardt in the ARCA Series, in the Busch Series, in the Dash Series. In fact, me and Kerry Earnhardt possibly raced on this track in the NASCAR Goodies Dash Series some time ago. But he's running the outside line there. He's got some rubber down. He's feeling confident. He's able to keep that momentum up on the outside. See, it really shows right here down the straightaway. When you can get up on that outside and keep that extra 50 or 100 RPM wound up, it really helps the driver off corner exit.
We just talked about him breaking into the top 5. There is Richard Gould out of North Brunswick, New Jersey. 32-year-old driver. Ran the season last year, but this year went to the first race of the year at Greenville Pickens, finished 20th. We haven't seen him since. And he comes here tonight at Nashville and has found his way into the top 5 in this race.
What a good feeling for Richard Gold. Again, running 5th right now, doing a tremendous job. We're inside 50 laps, Mike. Now it's time to maintain that pace and take care of them tires for this last 50. If it goes green, the driver that uses his head the most, takes care of that equipment, will possibly be in victory lane.
Now, he's another guy who really cut his teeth in the Northeast in modifieds, but boys, he's given that 58 car a ride tonight right into the top 5 in this race. And you see now he's putting a little pressure on Chase Austin. The one car there, that is the 3rd place car. So quite a battle there for 3rd, 4th, and 5th from some guys we have not seen in these positions a lot this year.
Again, you know, what kind of evens things up this playing field, we talked about at the beginning of the race, Mike, is none of these drivers have really been on this racetrack. So nobody has the upper leg up on setup or driver, you know, how to drive around this racetrack. A lot of these guys, like I said, probably 95% of them have not been on the track, so there's no big advantage to some of the bigger teams, you know what I'm saying?
Jeffrey Earnhardt does have 3 top 10s this year. He had a 6th at Greenville Pickens, 4th at South Boston, and 4th at Stafford. Caution is out. Caution is out right now. And it looks like John Freeman has broken something. There he is in the 2-car. Freeman out of Morrisville, North Carolina. That Dodge, this is only his 2nd race of the season, and looks like his night's not going to be a good one. Under caution here at Nashville in the Music City 150.
Hello and welcome back to the Music City 150, where Jamie Hayes is in the lead. Now, Jamie's had an up and down season so far, but tonight he is really kicking it. One of the reasons, perhaps, is his crew chief, Donnie Richardson, had learned from Darrell Waltrip how to make it around this track. So Donnie shared his information with Jamie, and obviously it's paying off. Mike, back up to you.
Well, I'll say, and you look at Darrell Waltrip, who is from nearby Franklin, Tennessee. Actually, he's from Kentucky and moved down here to start racing late models at this racetrack. And Waltrip actually won the 3 Nextel Cup races here, 82, 83, and 84. And in that 84 season, that was the last year that the Cup Series ran here. In the last race, he and Jeff Bodine were neck and neck to the start-finish line. And Jeff Bodine is been credited with the last official Nextel Cup win here at the Nashville Speedway. But certainly Donnie Richardson, who's been around a long time, and that's got to really help Jamie Hayes. Richardson and Ken Schrader have been hooked up for a long, long time.
Yep, and Donnie Richardson, like you say, Mike, this car is stabled out of the Ken Schrader shop. Ken Schrader owns a lot of the cars and it's got all the equipment, so they teamed up with that deal and put it together, and Donnie Richardson's at the helm just doing a fine job. And I tell you, as a driver, there's no better confident feeling to come to a racetrack with a crew chief like Donnie Richardson, who's been there and done that.
Well, how about Rogelio Lopez, who's got a driver as a crew chief, Fred Scaff, who's spent a lot of time behind the wheel and really knows how to set up these race cars for a track like this. And Lopez, who races mostly on road courses in Mexico, has done a great job here. After only having run 5 East races last year, his best finish was in the first couple of races of the year. He was 5th at Greenville Pickens, finished 4th at Elko, 5th at South Boston. Those have been his top 10s, but he has really been off the last couple of weeks. He was 26th at New Hampshire, 26th at Thompson. So he's hoping that 03 machine will hold together a little bit and make his owner, Dave Davis, happy and bring home a top finish, perhaps a win, as he'll start side by side here with Jamie Hayes as light is out on the pace car, and we're about ready to go back green flag racing. Again, we're racing to lap 150. We're at lap 108 right now.
Michelle Theriot, the beneficiary this time by, she's able to bring it around, close up to the back of the field, the Glock-sponsored automobile. She's doing a fine job here tonight. Good qualifying effort, not quite as like they qualified 18th here. They came in here and tested. Jeff Spraker, crew chief on that automobile, team owner.
I had a chance to talk to Michelle Theriot today, and Theriot was telling me that she used to be a soccer player when she was a youngster, but racing kind of took it into her blood, and that's what she's all about right now. A youngster who really wants to make a go of it. He's 21 years old. Green is back out. And look at Lopez on the outside. He's going to give Hayes a battle here for the lead.
Well, that outside starting to work, Mike. There's some rubber laid down out there. Again, if you can get a good start, just like Lopez done, you were able to slingshot down the back straightaway and get a good run down in the street.
Oh, Rogelio Lopez is out in front for the first time here tonight. Jamie Hayes tucks alongside of him, and look at that one car running third, Jeffrey Earnhardt.
What a driver's got to do at this point in the race with 40 laps to go, he's got to take care of his tires. You got to be careful not to overdrive the right rear of that race car. If you spin them tires coming off a corner exit under heavy acceleration, it'll just get worse and worse in a matter of 2 or 3 laps. Listen to young Chase Austin on the radio. He said, man, I don't feel like I got any right rear left. No grip. But that's what this racetrack's about. You got to drive off the corners like there's an egg between your foot and the gas pedal, and you don't want to break that egg. You just got to be that smooth.
Well, they strung out the top 4. Richard Gould's out running 4th. Chase Austin has slipped back to 5th.
Joey Logano back there.
How about Jerry Martin moving up to 6th, and you see on the top of your screen there, Joey Logano is 7th now. So maintaining that top 10. You know, he said, I've got a top 10 car tonight, and Logano stands to make some real jumps in the point standings. We haven't talked about Matt Kovaluk, who was up there for much of the night. He is now 10th. He's 3rd in the points, and Peyton Sellers 4th in the points, still a lap down. So this could be a big points night for Joey Logano in that number 20 car.
03 car, Lopez. He's been rather smooth, not really slinging the tail of that race car. Have not seen Rogelio Lopez get loose that much off the corner. So important here at Nashville, because once you start to get loose, you'll really eat them tires.
And his crew chief, Fred Scaff, a really neat guy, and one of the Northeast veterans. Let's go down and get more on the 03 car from Natalie.
Yeah, talking about Rogelio Lopez, you should have seen his crew just moments ago. They were standing up, cheering, so excited that he's leading, and they said that he's had mechanical issues the past few weeks, and tonight it just seems to click. So what they're telling him is to just keep it smooth and stay out in front.
Yeah, you're right. Those mechanical issues, Natalie, have kept him out of the top 25 2 weeks in a row. So this is really, I'm sure, got that crew going crazy. And, you know, Dan, I'm wondering if on some of those rough road courses in Mexico, that driving is not paying off for Rogelio Lopez here.
Well, I tell you, as a race car driver, yes, it will help, especially here at Nashville, the bottom side of that racetrack. The left side tires, again, you're in the rumble strips. It feels like you're in rumble strips. It's just a rough, abrasive racetrack. A smart driver wins races here, and that's what Darrell Waltrip always was able to master. Take care of his equipment, be there at the end.
Our youngster Joey Logano is on the move. Logano posted in the 5th position now as he got by Chase Austin. That would be the battle for 4th if he could get by Richard Gould. So it might be go time now for one Joey Logano as we are approaching 30 laps to go in this race.
Well, what might have happened with Joey Logano, this may have fell into his hand. His race car was not that good. He knew that it wasn't, so he did not overdrive the tires on the race car. By doing that, late in the race, he'll move towards the front. The guys that were up front and checked out, they start moving back because they run out of tires.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about in this race, what's happened is our HDNet Performance Award, which we give for the cumulative laps led at the end of our portion of the televised season. Well, Sean Case led all last week, but yellow is out, I believe. No.
26 car, Scott Booley in the wall there. Yeah. Too, but it looks like they kept the green flag out. He's able to limp around down the back.
Yeah, he hit the wall, but no yellow. Well, my point is, tonight we've had several different leaders. Jamie Hayes has led a great deal. Several other cars have led, including Rogelio Lopez, so we're kind of scrambling up the HDNet Award a little bit. I like that.
That's a good thing.
I like it.
Again, I attribute some of that to coming to a new racetrack where teams don't have the setups that they normally would. The teams that ran for years and years and years are kind of it levels the playing field. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. That's why we're seeing some names here tonight that we normally don't see up front.
And one of them right there in the one car is Jeffrey Earnhardt, and that man, Rogelio Lopez. Look at Logano getting ready to make a move on Earnhardt. This is the battle for 3rd place. And don't count Joey Logano out of this race. What a smart race this youngster has run, taking care of his equipment. And now that it's go time, looks like he's got some tires left underneath.
Well, I think it worked into his favor. Did not overdrive the race car. Knew that he didn't have the race car that was perfect for him. So late in the race, he's got a little bit more tire left, and it may play right into his hand.
Well, Logano 4th. Earnhardt is 3rd. And up front, there's Rogelio Lopez. Well, let's not forget about the second place car. That's Jamie Hayes.
Yep,
Certainly not counting him out of this race.
About a 1.5 second spread between first and second right now. So what Jamie has to do is just take care of his tires, be there at the end, keep him in his sights. Looks like the caution flag's out.
Well, yeah, there's Freeman again. And guess who he gets wrecked with? The car he used to drive last year, the 5 car of Jonathan Smith.
Wow.
We almost took out Rogelio Lopez. Did you see that when he turned up the racetrack?
That could have been big. He's got a little damage there on the left front of that car, John Freeman.
Well, when Freeman got going and he took that hard right, I'm not sure that he saw Rogelio Lopez, who was up there.
Wow.
The 03 car, boy, that was really close.
He just got back from a race in France, Le Mans race, 24-hour race. And go-karts, they run a 24-hour race.
Now watch the 2 car and watch Rogelio, our leader, coming up right there. Boy, that could have been. And look at Jamie Hayes slow down and say, whoa, what are you doing there, John Freeman?
Yeah, what happened with John there, he dumped the clutch, and when he did, being we've got 18 degrees of banking on this racetrack, the tail of the race car slid down and actually pointed the race car straight up the racetrack, so that could have been big.
Well, it's going to be some wild finish here in the Music City 150. 25 laps remain. As the moon over Nashville tonight, somewhere there is some aspiring country music writer perhaps writing a song about that tonight.
Pretty sight.
The Music City, the home of country music here. By the way, you know, the winner of this race gets a new guitar. That's kind of a tradition here in Nashville.
Sean Case took the guitar in qualifying. Excuse me. They get a guitar for qualifying and for their trophy. And man, what a trophy to have.
I asked Sean Case, does he play the guitar? And he said yes. Well, he's not going to chance to win the race after having that problem, but I wonder if Rogelio or Jamie Hayes may play a little guitar or pick us a tune if they win Victory Lane.
Well, they're thinking about it now. 22 laps to go at this point.
I think what they're thinking about now are those tires going to hold up for the end of the race. And boy, whatever happens with Jamie Hayes, Natalie, he has really put on a great show tonight, hasn't he?
You know, he has, and his entire crew is completely excited. And I just spoke with Donnie Richardson, his crew chief, again, and he was saying that if Jamie is going to make a move, it has to be right now. They're worried about those yellows and restarts, possibly hindering him a chance of getting up front. So if the move is going to be made, it better be made right now.
That should make for an exciting restart, Natalie, and we'll see. He'll be starting on the outside. Lopez will start on the inside, and that's where we saw Jamie Hayes start the race, was on the outside of row 1. He qualified second. Sean Case was the pole winner.
Yeah, he's having a little trouble there. Again, Rogelio is so strong down there on the bottom. Not sure if he's going to have what it takes to keep that outside line. But again, what's nice about this racetrack is it develops an outside line as the race goes on. So we know there's some hope out there as a driver to hang it out.
Well, you know, the track looked clean to me. It looked like we were ready to go green, and the light stayed on the pace car, and apparently the word from NASCAR is we're having trouble getting the guys lined up right. Yeah. They talked about that in the drivers' meeting. Goes by the scoring loop, and NASCAR has to communicate to the spotters where each of these cars are supposed to be on the racetrack, and then spotters are supposed to communicate it to the drivers, and sometimes that does not happen in the way it's supposed to, and so apparently that's why we're running an extra lap of caution right here.
Now, and what they tell you is, they told them today, they said, we're not playing anymore. We're going to tell you twice. If you don't line it up, you're either going to be black flagged or you're going to the back. So, boys, you better start paying attention.
Well, maybe we'll see that light being turned off this time around. That'll be a great sign. And again, they'll start 2 by 2. It'll be Lopez and Hayes on the front row, and then it'll be Jeffrey Earnhardt and Joey Logano on row 2. Now the light has gone out. That is good news. That means we will go green. We come back around, and Rogelio Lopez will lead the field to the green. Natalie?
Yeah, Rogelio and his crew are definitely excited right now as well. Basically, they know that Rogelio runs well on cold tires, so he's feeling good if he stays smooth. In fact, they already said, see you in victory lane. So who knows? We'll see.
All right. We'll see if Rogelio will be doing a little picking in victory lane on his guitar now.
I'll tell you, my pick is either going to be Joey Logano or Jeffrey Earnhardt. Them 2 cars are really good. Logano is coming from the back. He's talking on the radio. He said, I think I can win this race. And Jeffrey Earnhardt saying the same thing. So it's going to get real interesting here inside of 20 laps.
20 laps to go here in the Music City 150. Glad you're with us here on HDNet for Busch Grand National East Series racing. Should see quite a finish. Remember, these guys are running on old tires. This is a rough track, so you never know what's going to happen.
Green flag. Outside. Clear behind him if you want it. Stay outside.
Spotter from Jamie Hayes, who tells him to duck in line into second place, and that's just what he does.
Jeffrey Earnhardt looking down at the bottom side. Joey Logano on the outside, able to keep that momentum going. These guys know it's time to go.
Did you see Jeffrey Earnhardt get loose then? That front end of that car was dancing all over the racetrack.
Did a good job of holding on to that race car, but just standing on the gas. You can't get out once you commit to getting in the throttle.
Hey, there's trouble in two. Gould is into it. Also, the 41 car of James Pritchard.
Gould having such a good run here tonight in Nashville. Tough break for him. Not sure how much damage he's got on that car. If there's not much more right side damage, he may be okay, able to get back on the way. But
I think Gould put some fluid down the racetrack. It's smoke. Let's take a look at Jeffrey Earnhardt just a moment ago, Dan. Watch the red car, the one car right here.
He gets down on the bottom, and again, he needs that runoff room off a corner exit. He's wide open at this point. Looks like he loses the front end of the race car, stays in the throttle, just taps Joey Logano in the left rear and says, hey, I'm back here. Did a good job of, that's called car control. Getting up on that steering wheel and driving it, car control.
Well, great job by Jeffrey Earnhardt. And Rogelio Lopez again maintains the lead as we're under caution again here with under 20 laps to go. Should be quite a finish. And again, last week in Thompson, if you were with us, you saw we had two green, white, checkered finishes. We will not finish the race under caution. They'll restart it. We'll go into an overtime, if you will. So we'll see if they check for the fluid out there and hopefully get this cleaned up really quick. And we will again go back to racing, have some finish here in Nashville. Here's the 35 of Marquis. He'll start fifth. About ready to go back to green. See what kind of finish we can get here.
All clear.
And again, another great restart by Lopez.
Able to get up on the high side. Again, we got tire rubber down on the high side of this racetrack, and that's so good to keep that momentum off of corner exit. Can't look back at this point, Mike. You got to go.
By the way, our broadcast going to Mexico tonight and South America as well on FSN International. And so I know all those folks down there are excited about what Rogelio Lopez is doing from Aguas Calientes, Mexico.
Tremendous job by him. Was able to conserve his tires. Not sliding this race car around is a big deal at this racetrack. Tire conservation is everything. See Joey Logano there, second place, able just to take care of them tires here tonight. What a story for him. Again, he talked about he did not have a race car to win this race, so he kind of laid back, and that was awesome strategy.
Yeah, but then he has time to catch Lopez. He's gaining on him every lap. Oh, there's trouble again. There's Salemi. John Salemi is backed into the wall on the back stretch, and caution is out again. Boy, what is this going to set up now? Because this is now going to put Logano on a restart on the front row.
Man, I tell you what a night for Joey Logano. Started towards the back, took care of his race car. Tires are everything here in Nashville.
7 races this year. Logano has won 3 of them. Plus the West Series race in Phoenix. Can he win again tonight? He's put himself in position. Let's take a look and see what happens.
Looks like they just got, I'm not sure if he got loose or it looks like he
might have gotten
got a little
tagged
help
a little
there
bit
from the back. Again, you're carrying 100-mile-an-hour plus off corner exit. You can get a little bit of help, a little bit of light right there. May have got some help from the backside, just got turned around. Tap on the right front, right here. Tough break.
It's been a tough night for that guy, hasn't it, John Freeman?
Yes, it has. John's had a tough break. It's just been a tough night for him. Freeman's been back and forth. Freeman, friends of Jerry Nadeau. Talked to him. He does a lot of stuff with Jerry. Jerry's makes a lot of race car simulators. Does a lot of simulators for drivers who've never been to different racetracks, and what a tremendous gift to the sport that Jerry's been able to do.
All right, Dan, you ready for a finish here, buddy?
Yep, it's going to be exciting. When we talked about it as a driver, I'll tell you what, you know, we're inside 7 laps to go here. If you're up in that top 4, you've got to just stand on it. You know, conservative is out the window. You just got to do everything you can. If the car gets a little sideways, that's what you like. You got to stand up and drive it. Looks like they're waving the yellow flag. They waved the green flag.
Wow, the lights come back on.
Possibly the lineup is not right at this point.
Guess what? The lineup is not right. I thought they were going to park guys when the lineup was not right. Just black flag them, but apparently we're going to stay under yellow.
Right.
Okay. Well, also the tow truck's coming out on the racetrack too, so that might mean. So, oh yeah, there's Pritchard. He stopped. That's another good reason to just keep the yellow out. That would not be good to do a restart and have a car stopped in the middle of the track. Well, Logano, Lopez, Hayes, and Earnhardt will be your top 4. Brian Chu is 5th. And then Jerry Marquis, Chase Austin, Mark Davis. I haven't mentioned Jeff Anton's name, but he's running 9th. And Tim Andrews 10th. That's the way they'll restart with 6 laps remaining. And Joey Logano now in position to win this race, Natalie.
You know, it's interesting that he is in that position because he was saying today that there was no way he was going to do well tonight. He said basically he had a top 10 car, no way had a top 5, and surprise, surprise, look where he's at. And speaking of Joey Logano, they were happy, his crew that is, where he was just because of the points. They were talking about how important restarts are, and you know he's had success during those restarts. So if he stays out of trouble, who knows, it could be 4 tonight for Joey.
Well, you're right. We talked about those 3 wins in the series, and don't forget that win at Phoenix where he just dominated the West Series race. Well, the light is out now, and they're double file, and so we'll see. Lopez, Logano, Hayes, and Earnhardt. Those are the front 2 rows as we try to decide things here in Nashville, coming up on 5 laps to go.
Now they're calling it off again. Obviously another problem with the lineup. Unfortunate. Man, as a driver, I mean, we hate this. We hate this when they call us off. You get that energy up, you're ready to go, you tighten the belts, you're focused,
and another car dies on the backstretch.
Yeah, and unfortunate. I'm sure he didn't do it on purpose. That's a 50 car, Todd Peck.
Almost said Tom Peck.
Yep, Tom Peck. He's part of the Tom Peck family, obviously. I believe it's one of his sons.
His uncle, Tom Peck.
Uncle Tom. Tom's
drove in the Busch Series. Todd's 21 years old. Spent a couple of seasons in the Pro Cup Series out of Glenville, Pennsylvania. And his Chevy's come to a stop on the backstretch, so the light came back on. So much for the drama of the restart. There's another car in 1 and 2. Check that out, Dan. It's slow and it's going to stop. We got cars stopping all over the racetrack. There's one at the entrance to turn 1 that has come to a stop as well.
2 of them down there. Not sure if these cars are running out of gas at this point or what. That's a tough break.
That's the word we are getting from NASCAR, is that these cars are running out of fuel.
Yep, another one down on the bottom side. Not sure who that is, following the leader. Well, so I tell you what.
Let's get Natalie, if you would. Natalie, check on Joey Logano or Lopez and see how they are on fuel. What's the story, Natalie?
Well, basically, you know, the Rogelio's crew is just pumped. They say this is going to be his tonight. And while Joey, on the other hand, they're trying to conserve fuel like you guys were just saying and hoping he continues to stay smart. You know, Joey's plan in the beginning was to just cut around during the beginning of the race and middle and save it for the end. So who knows? Maybe we'll have an exciting one.
Natalie, do me a favor and ask one of those crew chiefs just how close they are on fuel towards the end of this race. I know these caution laps are helping, but is there any chance that those guys are going to run out of fuel before the end of the race?
Oh, I'll definitely get on it. You know, like I said.
Thanks. And then we'll get back to Natalie in just a moment when she checks those guys out just a little bit.
Joey Logano, Dan Partisan, HD Net booth. You copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, bud. Looks like you have got one heck of a race car here this last 25 laps. You have just rocketed to the front. You think you got what it takes to put it victory lane?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a pretty good restart here on the outside for line. So right now, we're kind of worried about running out of gas, I think. A lot of guys are running out, I think. So these last 3 laps will be pretty interesting.
Roger. Well, good luck to you, and hopefully you can make it to the end.
All right, thanks.
All right, well, that should be the big report we're going to get now, is who's going to run out of gas.
Wow.
Look at all those cars bunching up together. Okay, Dan, you're caution. How do you conserve fuel right now if you're one of these top guys?
Well, you put it in a real high gear, maybe 2nd or 3rd gear, and try and keep them RPMs down just as low as you possibly can. If you see some of these guys, the 35 car, Jerry Marquis, down on the bottom of the racetrack, he's riding on the apron to keep because the suction comes out on the right side tank of these cars. So if you're up on this bank and all the fuel goes to the left and starts sucking air, causes major problems.
And what happens if we have a green-white checker? What happens if we have to go overtime?
Well,
and then we see all the leaders could start running. What drama this could happen then?
It could be big. It could be big, but looks like we're going to go green this time by. So, hopefully we can get this race over with and no more of these cars will run out of fuel.
Well, that's what's happened. It's caused these cautions to come out here as cars have simply run out of gas. And you heard Joey Logano say he's worried about it. Natalie's checking with a couple of the crew chiefs. But they're only going to be like 3 laps to go here. 2 next time by, the way we have it on our score sheet.
Watch this outside line because it has been working for these guys.
Get it now, get it.
When you can't conserve fuel now, you got to go. And that's what Logano and Lopez are doing, but it's Rogelio. What a great jump. What a car he had.
He does, but Joey Logano works real good on the bottom of the racetrack, too, so he's got to get in his groove here in a lap or 2 and possibly dive down to the bottom of Rogelio Lopez.
White flags coming out this time by. Can Logano catch Rogelio Lopez?
Joey looking to the bottom, drove too hard down in the corner, shoved the nose in the center. He's got to get a good corner down in 3, Mike, to make it work.
Only chance he's got as they come up on some lap traffic. Will it come into play? Around through 4, Logano really pumping it, but Lopez is going to hold him off. Rogelio Lopez wins his first ever NASCAR Grand National Series race, and he does it here in the inaugural event in Nashville, Tennessee.
Helio just doing an outstanding job. We talked about it, tire management, and he's done that here tonight at Nashville to have the tires that he needed to the end to put it in victory lane.
Well, hopefully he'll have enough gas to make it around to victory lane.
He's got to be one happy camper to come here.
I'll tell you, what a night, what a race we had here tonight. And a lot of different names running up front. Sean Case had problems, the pole sitter. But Logano, who ran 9th and 10th all day long, comes home to finish 2nd. He'll maintain the points lead. His teammate, Mark Davis, comes back up through the field. Strong run to finish 3rd. Just did edge out Jeffrey Earnhardt, who was 4th. And then it was the 99 of Brian Chu, who finishes in the 5th position. Jamie Hayes, who led the most laps here tonight, comes home in 6th place. Jeff Anton 7th. Tim Andrews a nice top 10 with 8th. And Jerry Marquis, his first time in the 35 car, finishes 9th. Richard Gould 10th, and a little burnout, and why not some excitement on the part of Rogelio Lopez out of Mexico, and he is and should be excited to win here tonight in the inaugural Music City 150.
Got a little bit of rubber left there, made some smoke, so that's a good thing. Just doing everything right, listening to his crew on the radio, take care of tires, conserve, be there at the end. He done all the above, and that's what put him in victory lane here tonight.
You know what's going to be interesting when Natalie talks to him, too, is how close was he to running out of fuel there at the end? And if we'd gone to overtime and to a green-white checker, what would have happened?
Yep, and as a driver, you got to put all that out of your mind, especially inside of a green-white checker. You cannot conserve fuel within 3 laps. You have to race hard. You just have to go as hard as you can and hope for the best.
Well, Dan, you know, one of the things when you come to a racetrack for the first time, you don't really know where victory lane is.
No.
So he's trying to find it.
It's down on the front stretch.
It is
here.
on the front stretch, and they've had to tell him to come inside the racetrack.
It's kind of different here at Nashville. They actually pull the cars right in front of the fans inside the actual grandstand area, which is really, really cool. They put you right in front of there. The fans are right there in front of you. Just a tremendous facility here. Tremendous place to have a victory.
Okay, so, well, Lopez has made his way there and getting congratulations for some of the folks at the track. And there's his team coming over. Telmex, his sponsor. And, boy, are they excited. Rogelio will unhook all his safety equipment and jump out and celebrate in just a moment.
Good job, Rogelio.
Crew members just happy, giving congratulations. No better feeling to win in Nashville, especially the history of this place we talked about.
Lopez's best finish so far to date has been a 4th at Elko. Getting that win here tonight. I think Natalie has crossed the track. She's had to make a hike from pit road all the way to the grandstands to get there. But
for Mexico.
I think she's there now as Rogelio tries to get that helmet off.
Right.
He's gonna milk this for all it's worth, and he's take his time getting the helmet off.
Started 15th here tonight. Just worked his way to the front.
Well, look at the smile on his face. Here he comes, and let's go down to Natalie Taylor.
Make him pretty.
Go up to us.
There he is.
Got a Mexican flag anywhere?
Okay, Rogelio, is there any words that you could think of to use right now?
I'm very proud of this team. We've been working really hard with this car all the season. It's a wonderful track. Thanks for the crowd that come this night. Thanks for Telmex Lucas Oil. We've been working together real hard, and this piece is real good.
Well, Rogelio, this is your first win in this series so far. You got to talk about how exciting it was holding off Joey Logano in those last few laps.
Yeah, he's a pretty good driver. He's leading the points, and he was hard by the end, but we got a strong heart by the end. We saved tires. Everything was good all around the car, so we won.
And Rogelio, fuel started to be an issue out there with some of the drivers. Was that a concern of yours?
Yeah, I was worried about it, but I know we did everything right, and we got it.
Well, Rogelio, we'll let you get out of the car and celebrate. Congratulations.
All right, thanks, Natalie. And Rogelio, I think, wanted to take a couple of deep breaths and stand. He's not in any hurry to get out of that race car, is he, Dan?
Well, I tell you, as good as that race car handled, I wouldn't get out of it either. I'd sleep in that race car because as a driver, man, when you have one that drives that good, you don't want to leave it.
Well, not only does he get a trophy, but again, he gets a guitar, and that's one of the traditions here in Nashville as he celebrates. And again, Joey Logano finishes second, and Mark Davis, the two Joe Gibbs drivers, finished second and third in the race. What a race for Jeffrey Earnhardt tonight, huh?
Just a good race, and he had a car to win the race here tonight. He was just a little snug through the center, couldn't get it to turn, but just a great job by him.
His third top 5 of the year. Brian Chu, 5th. Jamie Hayes. Well, I thought he had a great run tonight.
Well, it looked like, Mike, like you talked about, looked like he was the class of the field, and he could possibly win this race, but possibly used the tires up late in the race and did not have what it took to win the race.
Well, congratulations again to Rogelio Lopez. Can't wait till next week. We're heading back to the Northeast to Adirondack Speedway up in New York. We hope you'll join us July 28th. Our race will start at 6 o'clock Eastern. The director of tonight's race has been Jason Vaughn. Our producer, David Butler. Production manager, Mike Hurd. Engineering, Dan Neighbors and Ed Martinez. The executive producer of HDNet Sports is Daryl Ewald. Radio communications from Performance Radios and Communications. And a very special thanks to all of our great crew for providing these wonderful high-definition pictures and providing the great sound all night long. Once again, our winner from Nashville in the Music City 150 is Rogelio Lopez. For my broadcast partners, Dan Partis and Natalie Taylor, I'm Mike Hawkwood. Thanks for joining us. So long from Nashville, Tennessee.